Hello everybody, it's Mr Griffin here. You will have seen in the news that there have been a lot of announcements about what might happen this summer in terms of GCSE, A-level and BTEC examinations. And we thought it would be timely and helpful for me just to talk through those for a few minutes so that people understand what's being proposed and what it means for students at the school at the moment. So I'm going to take you through a number of points, and this will come out via a parent mail that will have attached to it some government documents as well, outlining how things are going to operate. So the government have put in place proposals that are different to those that happened last year. So last year exams were cancelled in the April, and so effectively courses had been finished. We were on the kind of revision stage, so it was a relatively straightforward process to say we know roughly where we expect students to be. This year exams have been cancelled much earlier, and there is still content to be covered. So what the government have released is a document that is called the consultation on how GCSE and A-level exams should be awarded in summer 2021, and that outlines what they could do. And that's being run as a public consultation at the moment, and there'll be some information about that in the email that goes out. But what I'm going to do first is summarise what I think the main points are in terms of what the government's proposing, and then just talk very briefly about what I think that means for us here at St Ivo. So first of all, for all subjects, grades that are released this summer will be based on your teacher's assessment of the standard at which you are performing. Now, the difference in that point to previous years is that we're being asked to say, not what would you get, but what are you getting? So it has to be based on what we are seeing and can prove in evidence. Second point, teachers will continue to assess any non-exam assessment for their subject. So, for example, I have an English A-level group. We have a coursework assignment that is due later this term. That will still be completed, that will still be marked, and that will contribute towards the grade that comes at the end. The grade that is submitted to the exam board will be based on broad evidence. So there will be a number of things. So it is not your mock exam grade. It is looking at a number of grades, a number of bits of information we have, and saying, based on that, this seems to be the grade at which the student is performing. There is a very clear message that for all students in exam years, your education continues this year. So there is not any sense that the year is over and content has been finished. We are carrying on teaching, and we have to carry on teaching with you to get you through the remainder of the course. There will be a period of teacher assessment. So there will be a period where teachers will be asked to say, where are the students in my class now based on evidence? And that period will be late May and early June. So the government plan is to push that period as late as is possible in the year to give you the best opportunity to show us what you can do and to cover any remaining content. Those grades will then be submitted to exam boards in June. The exam boards will check those grades, and the plan is for all examinations to have their results issued in early to mid-July this year. Now that's about a month earlier than we would normally have, and I think particularly for those of you in the sixth form who will be looking at university places, that's a very useful thing to have a little bit longer to get your head round what's happening and where that might take you. So, a couple of points on that in terms of some of the practical things the government are suggesting. Assessment will be based on the evidence of the standard at which students are performing. So the evidence being the crucial word there. It's all very well saying, sir, I was about to start working hard. If I haven't seen the evidence and I haven't got work or staff haven't got work where we can say, yes, this student is working hard, they are improving, they are now working at this grade. I can't award you it on what might happen. This assessment by the school will be supported by papers, which they're calling mini exams or assessments, from exam boards that will be set nationally and then will be marked internally. So it might be that everyone in Year 11 sits a standard English assessment sometime in May or June that the English department mark, and that is one of the key elements that goes towards forming your grade. And this is what I've said about a range of evidence. But there will also be other evidence. There'll be formal tests that you've done in subjects. There will be your mock exams, and there will be other pieces of substantial work. I think one of the things that last year some students were perhaps a little confused by was if they have done a short test and have got, let's say, 9 out of 10 on a recap test, and teachers say, well, that puts you in a grade 8 or a grade 9, that does not always mean that you are achieving at a grade 8 or 9. You will need to have done that in more than one piece. So it's the breadth of things and how that goes. So what does that mean for students at St Ivo in years 11, 12 and 13? Well, firstly, what it means is nothing is definite until this consultation has finished, and it finishes on the 29th of January, and an announcement is made probably sometime early to mid-February. So until then, anything you read in the papers or see online that says this is what will happen is only speculation. So until the government announce the result of the consultation, nothing is definite, but it is likely to be very similar to what I've just described. We don't have as a school any information about specific subjects. And the ones that are concerning me particularly are those subjects that would have practical elements. So, for example, performance work in music or drama, the art practical exams, the PE practical exams, the food technology and the design and technology elements. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of those yet. So your teachers don't have any more information. And when we do, we'll be sharing it with you. The last thing that seems to be really, really clear, and I think this is something all students need to hear, understand and take on board, is that lessons and learning and assessment will be carrying on from this point right up until June. So those students, and some of you in Year 11 have already contacted your head of year and said, given that we're just going to be awarded grades, we don't need to do any more work, do we? Absolute opposite. You must be working, you must be showing us, because if we don't have the evidence, we can't give you that grade. So if your targets are 5 and you haven't been showing us the work and you haven't been doing the work, it may well be that we have to enter a much, much lower grade. And if you don't do any work, there is the potential of us entering no grade or failing you based on that. And we wouldn't want that to happen to anyone. Now, I am aware this is a lot of information. So I'm very happy to answer questions by email if that helps. If there's a lot of questions from students, it might be that what we do is we set up some form of Teams meeting for those students who are interested, where we can have a discussion about this at some point. Similarly for parents, please email us if you've got specific questions. And as soon as we have more information, then we will be sharing that with people. If you're of a mind to read the consultation document, please do. And if you want to respond, that would be very, very helpful. But there is no compulsion on you. And other than that, thank you very, very much for your time. I hope you and your families are well, and I look forward to seeing you back at school at some point. Thank you.